you run Tiago out of town and support
Your son-in-law.
And support me in getting Maria's marriage to him annulled.
He's been useful to me over the years, but I do question some of his motives. Very well, Mamacita. I think we have, and I'll sign with a flourish, an agreement.
Wow. Okay.
Hey.
I'm just going to go slide one of those tokens over to Mama, I guess, right?
It's a little. I think we both got what we wanted in our ways. It's really hard to say.
It was Antonio's scene, though, so I think he's...
I think it's more Antonio got what he wanted, because he's getting his rally, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so... it's my turn. And my scene will be perhaps a few days thence. It's a bright, sunny, a little bit breezy day. It's actually not that hot, which is good because Fortunata and Don Miguel are out promenading by the sea at Botafogo Bay. There's a big semicircular beach there that's recently been beautified and modernized by having a kind of walkway put along it with a nice stone balustrade and so forth. Fortunato, I imagine, has a little parasol and stuff, and Don Miguel is still slightly overdressed for the weather, so he's sweating a bit and mops his brow with a silk handkerchief from time to time. And yes, it's just a very peaceful, delightful scene. Sugarloaf Mountain is there in the distance to look at, and other couples and well-heeled families are also in small groups walking up and down. You hear the cry of the seagulls. Every so often a tram goes past, the mule that pulls it clip-clopping away. In the distance is a sort of old jetty where some kids are laughing and running and jumping into the water. They're actually street urchins who live in a warehouse at the end of that jetty, but that doesn't really spoil your enjoyment of the day. What are you thinking about at the moment, Fortunato? Don Miguel hasn't really said anything for a while. He's just sort of strolling along beside you, one arm given you to hold on to.
I'm thinking about what I can do for this community. Left idle, my thoughts always stray to what can I actually do to help.
For a while, Don Miguel finally coughs a few times as if he's about to speak, which is him working his way up to actually speaking. And eventually you are looking at the mountains, and I should mention at this time, actually, there are slightly more mountains around in Rio than there are now, because they kind of demolished a lot of them later. And he just says, yes, it really is so pretty here, the countryside. We don't have anything like this in Spain, you know. But I do miss it. And have you ever thought, Fortunato, about visiting Spain? I'd love to show you the size of Extremadura, and Madrid is, well, pleasant enough as well.
I've read traveling books about Barcelona and Madrid, but I've never been. But what the books can't tell me is, what's the music like?
Well, the peasants make wonderful music in Spain, much like here. And of course, we have the grand balls and all kinds of things. Oh, Fortunato, I do wish I could show all of it to you. And well, the funny thing is, if I didn't ask you, then you couldn't say no.
I think I just kind of stop and catch my breath, like.
And well, he doesn't go down on one knee because he's a Spanish noble and they're trained not to do that. But he says, Fortunato, would you make me the happiest man in all of Spain? And he clasps one hand with both of his. Into your eyes.
I kind of look up and to the right, and then look down, and I kind of smile, and you can see my neck kind of tightens, and I kind of grab his hands back, and I'm just like, I don't know. I need a moment.
His look kind of falters.
No, it's not. It's nothing like that. I just, I need to catch my breath. Oh, Don, Miguel, are you serious?
I've never been more serious about anything in my life. Meeting you has changed me completely. Oh, Fortune, do say you'll marry me. Do say you will.
But all my things are here. What?
We'll ship them over, and we can visit. The steamships are tremendously fast nowadays.
Oh, I just don't know. My whole life, everything I've known is here. Oh my. Would I just be the worst if I said we couldn't say we visit Spain and I can decide then? Would that be too much to ask of you, Don McGill?
It's his turn to look, well, to the right and down, I suppose, this time. And he looks up, up to the beach, into the sea, into the horizon. Oh, Fortunata, I just know that once you've seen what it's like there, then you'll love it as much as I have ever since I was a boy. Of course. Mama, it's your scene.
The scene is me and Tiago. It's just in the bar. And I think it's like nighttime. I've had a little bit to drink. I think I'm actually kind of celebrating because of the rally or the circumstances surrounding the rally. Everything right now, I'm feeling good, right? I've reconciled the politics thing, right? Out of like just pure self-interest, which is one of my polls, by the way. I'm feeling particularly like loose and magnanimous right now. And so I go up to Tiago. I've got a little more sway in my step than I normally do. Normally, I'm a very rigid, walking a straight path until I decide to circle you sort of person. You're there hanging out, having a drink. I say, Tiago, I know you and I haven't always gotten along.
He looks nicer than he has. He's in like more expensive, newer clothes than you'd normally see him in. Nothing like that. Nothing like the ball outfit, but it's like a silk shirt and like crisp new white linen pants sort of thing. And he sort of smiles at Mama as she comes up and she's swaying, and he like matches her sway and says, "Oh, hi, Mama, you look almost ready to dance." And he'll grab you around the waist and give you like a single twirl around.
I'm like, let's not get crazy here. I know we haven't always gotten along, Tiago. I mean, you're basically a thug and a worthless piece of shit who just happens to have captured my daughter's heart.
Wow. Your mean old bitch is sitting on a pile of money.
As ordained by the gods. You remind me of your father, you know that, right?
Been a while since I've heard that particular epithet.
Epithet. It's a good way of putting it. Your father had his charms. Yes, he was a thug, like so many people around here, prone to violence and bouts of oppressive stupidity.
He is part of an old way of life. I think a way that we're all looking to find a path out of.
But he was really, really, really good in the sack.
And I think like that stops the sort of motion, the sway, like spine goes rigid. Suddenly not comfortable anymore.
I've definitely had too much to drink. I'm like, I look in that mirror, that long mirror, right behind the bar, and I say, I've still got it, right? Kind of like, adjusting my bosom a little bit.
Definitely say for my mother-in-law, you present a respectable figure.
I'm not going to be your mother-in-law for much longer. I say with a smile, a knowing smile.
Oh, I know you've been making that prayer for years now, but life is what it is.
The pious sometimes get it right. Prayers are sometimes answered.
Sometimes it takes a little more than prayer. Sometimes it takes getting down in the mud a little bit.
Oh, I know that. I don't feel comfortable unless my hands are dirty. And then I get a little closer to you. Do you like to get dirty?
Oh, Mama. And he'll back up and grab a couple shots off the bar and sort of use that to take a step back and hand you one. To the mud.
Take a shot. And I walk to the back room. Do you follow?
No.
I think that's the scene then.
Smart boy. Okay. I'm going to assume that Mama did not get you what she wanted there.
Mm-mm.
Shame. All right, I'll do the tokens there. Oh, next up is Antonio.
All right. I think I want to do a procedural.
Okay.
I believe we're in my study. I don't know. Fortunata could overhear, entirely up to her. But I believe that we have a cousin or maybe an uncle who is a priest. And I have him, and I have my thug and a couple of his cronies there. And I'm sitting at my desk, and I have little piles of money sitting in front of me. I believe we understand, gentlemen. It is time to remove a certain problem. If you and your gentlemen would be so kind as to get Thiago out of the city and make sure he does not return. I don't need to know the details. The point is that my orders are followed. And then, Father, a man who deserts his wife. Oh, how low. A woman should not be stained with such shame. We can arrange that annulment, I would think. Gentlemen, today we sweep clean the obstacles to the future. Today, we rise. I would like to try and do a wealth move there, if it's possible.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. It's kind of making stuff happen with money roll, right? So yeah, roll plus wealthy.
I don't know if the family ties help at all in that or not, but
either or. So the use
Okay,
of the family ties is normally so you don't have to have more options to go to before you have to refresh.
Okay. Oh, bother. That's a 4.
Well, I think that's quite easy for me to adjudicate, which is that everyone goes to do all the stuff that they're supposed to do, except that Tiago gets wind of the goon squad coming. I'm not sure how soon before. Maybe when we get to Tiago's scene, you can set it like minutes or seconds or hours before. We'll figure that one out. Yeah, does that sound fair?
That sounds fair.
Cool. All right. So, I mean, the wheels are in motion, basically. So something's going to... And certainly that annulment is on its way, and all the various... I think he'll probably end up kind of on some wanted lists with the civil guard, things like that. You know?
That's nothing new, really.
Well, yeah, that's true, actually, but we'll see. Okay, well, you get to decide right away. Tiago, it's your scene.
Those people coming after me, how I get word of Antonio's people is sort of the same source where I got my money for new clothes and what I want to do for the day, which is that I've already sold off Antonio's secrets. And so the sort of establishment politicians, like they have their own fingers in the thug world, and they give me a heads up. The scene I sort of want to set is I find Fortunata, maybe like that same day from the proposal, maybe like the next night or something, but she's sort of wandering, I think, a bit like very unsure of what to do with herself. And I pick her up. I sort of talk her into a whirlwind night of like, we're going to a great restaurant and we're going to go to some really swanky places to dance, not the dances we did at the ball, but street places, really nice and sort of enviable to go to. And I think we go to a show along the way, and he's sort of trying to show her that he thinks he gets it now, that she wants stability, but not from the same source that she's always gotten it. Like, he's showing her that he can give her the best ends of the sort of rich street life that she's looking for. And I think probably where the drama moment hits is somewhere in maybe like a restaurant or along the dinner there. And I wish this was smoother and we'd had more scenes to set this up. But like, Maria, my totally unmentioned wife, shows up with Mama's gun and a head full of rumors.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about Maria.
Yeah, has anyone mentioned to her that she's about to have an annulment?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think Maria's been let in on Mama's thinking at all, right? Like, out of character, and I think that's what Antonio was setting up. It looks like Tiago abandoned his marriage and abandoned his responsibilities, right? So.
And I think Maria's been getting the same sort of rumors from her friends who have seen me out and chatting up and flirting with Fortunata and who knows how many women before that.
Yeah, do my work for me. Do our work, Antonio, for us.
Oh, don't worry. It's a really public place. There's still a chance that something horrible happened to Maria in the process.
So yeah, let's talk about Maria. I think she's looks like a kind of younger version of her mum, pretty much. So the same. She looks particularly stern right now. Gun is not like she's done that. She's covered it in a shawl or something, right? But you can tell it doesn't take a genius to figure out what she's got there, and you've tangled with this kind of situation before, so and I think you've got a moment to say something before she gets across the restaurant, because she has to, of course, barge past a protesting maitre d' going, "No, I'm sorry, if you don't have a reservation, you couldn't possibly." And it's been raining outside, but she is just she's wearing a simple white blouse and the kind of that like red and black ankle-length skirt that's often seen around the town, but no protection from the elements at all. So she comes in, she is figuratively and literally steaming and headed your way.
I do sort of the head whip back and forth between her and Fortunata a couple of times, and I just sigh and say to Fortunata, maybe this is a good opportunity for you to see what I'm trying to get out of.
I really think I should be off.
No, this is nothing. I'll clear this up. You wait, we'll be back to things. This won't even interrupt the evening.
Yes, well, I'll go powder my nose if it's all the same to you.
Are you making a sharp exit for the time being?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and so Maria doesn't arrive until you've made good your escape. So yeah, then Maria's just there at your table. Tiago's like, "Who is that?"
That's no one. You know I've been working for Antonio. I've been babysitting his little sister.
Oh, really? And you've been babysitting Sylvia Montero from across the fish market?
Sylvia likes to spread stories when she gets drunk.
Yeah.
We grew up together. It's just it's memories of the old times.
Oh, clearly. I've just about enough of you, Tiago. I've had enough of the staying at home late at night waiting for you to come back. And you don't. I've had enough of the lies.
Maria, sweetheart, you know I'm out there. I'm working for us. I'm trying to give you a life that you want.
You think this is what I want? You think I want to stay home imagining what you're getting up to? And why? Is it because it's not my fault? I know things didn't happen the way that we expected.
It's fine. If you could just calm down. There's people watching.
That's the point. And she pulls the little revolver from under her shawl. And it's not entirely clear where she's going to point it just yet.
It's fine. Just stop. We can talk about this. You're right. Sophia was but that's all in the past. That was mistakes, and Fortunata, I mean, she means nothing to me. It's just business. It's just a way forward for the two of us.
By the way, Fortunata, you totally heard that from slightly off camera. Maria looks at you like, and there's suddenly a loud bang as she just kind of shoots someone's lobster thermidor at the next table, and there's a scream, and everyone kind of scatters for cover. And then she points the gun at you. Yeah. Not so much to say for yourself now.
No, listen, we can work through this. Look, just you're obviously upset. Are
you gonna try and grab her or her weapon, maybe, or are you gonna try and talk your way out of this?
Like,
or not just talk your way out of it. Maybe give some kind of genuine emotional kind of something in return to mean your way out of it too. That's obviously an option.
I think I'm gonna try and talk my way up closer to her and try and, take the gun out of her hands.
Mm-hmm.
She obviously doesn't mean this. She's upset.
Tell her something from when you first met that would remind her about how you're basically a good guy.
Do you remember the islands? Do you remember that night out on the beach? The sun was setting. There was no one out, and I could barely move from rowing us all the way out there, but we were alone. Do you remember being alone together?
I remember.
Could
Okay, Fortunata, it's your scene. You can get that gun off her, by the way.
I want the scene with Antonio, and it's reminiscent of the first scene where we're in his study. It's in the morning, and I come in with his lawyer, who's also my lawyer. No conflict of interest in this scene that's about to happen. Don't worry about the lawyer's ethics. And I say to Antonio, well, I've heard that you've made some arrangements with mamas. Have you heard the happy news that Don Miguel and I are going to travel the countryside in Spain together?
A marvelous idea, sister. I think it is a fantastic idea. You will enjoy the continent.
Yes, I suspect I will. I enjoy Don Miguel's company, and he seems to appreciate the things that I appreciate.
A stellar young man.
I want to leave my interests here more secure. And to that end, since it seems only a man can talk to a man on these kinds of matters, I have brought our lawyer.
Well, of course, I would be more than happy to watch over and continue to prosper your holdings.
No, that's not quite what I mean. I mean my interests in a more hobby sense. He has filled me in on the details of your lease arrangement with mamas, and I should like to purchase the property.
I feel that it is important to maintain her lease, but it is something that you love, and I think that I am happy to give it to you, my sister. You have been so accommodating lately.
Very good, then. You just want to make a gift of it?
A gift, perhaps a wedding gift?
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves now, but I would like to secure that interest now.
Well, that seems fine. I'll pull out my fancy ballpoint pen.
Yeah, I mean, if you sign it over to me, free and clear, and the lawyer signs on too that he witnessed, that'd be great. I was willing to give you lots of money for it, but I'll just take it.
It's just a bar in a barrio. I will sign and lean in close and kiss you on the cheek. Sister, I knew that we would both be happier when we came together.
Yes, well, best of luck in your political aspirations. I'm off to see the mainland, I suppose.
It is a new day in Brazil.
I think that's the scene. The only other things I would establish are that, I would let Mama know that she has no obligation to Antonio anymore. She doesn't even have to pull the rally anymore. And I would also probably let Iago know, like, I'm going to Spain.
But perhaps we could have a quick one shot of each of you in closing, just doing something that shows your situation now. No dialogue or anything, just whatever we might see you doing as the end credits roll.
I think we see Antonio busily working to promote his candidate, making his deals. The rally, provided Mama doesn't cancel it, would be there. If not, he's probably pissed off, but having to have it in the street, he's just feeling great, unbelievably confident. It seems like everything's going exactly his way. The people are chanting for his candidate. We see one of his political rivals come walking up with a folder and a thin smile on his face as he taps him on the shoulder. And I think that's just scene.
That's it. All right. Tiago.
Tiago standing at the docks. He's got a packed bag over his shoulder, and at his feet there's like a bouquet of flowers that's just been like scattered on the ground, and there's a livid handprint on the side of his face. He's staring sort of at the boat where Fortunata and Don Miguel are heading off for their tour of Spain, and just like kicks at the roses as he walks away, like up onto his new horse that he's gotten with his newfound money, and heads out of town.
All right. Mama?
I think we just see Mama with her new windfall from her favorable lease term with a group of lawyers at a shiny, brand new bar, and still in the middle of construction also as well, signing the deal for franchise. Mama's
Nice.
to a different part of the town.
And Fortunata.
I think that we see her sometime later back in Rio. It didn't work out. She's at Mama's number one, and she is sitting in that same place that she always sits, listening to the music with a small smile on her face, and kind of tapping along and nodding along.